Support for LA64 is provided by Office of the Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, Keep Louisiana Beautiful, and the Louisiana Office of Tourism.
I'm Karen LeBlanc, a travel journalist and Louisiana native. Join me on LA64, a journey through all 64 parishes, exploring Louisiana's less traveled paths. Hit the road with me to explore Beauregard Parish. We'll jam to bluegrass music, brave a haunted jail tour, shop main streets, learn the secret to Louisiana's most famous watermelons, experience farm life in Dry Creek, and end in Maryville, where the spirit of no man's land still lingers. Beauregard Parish sits in southwestern Louisiana, tucked into the state's Piney Woods region near the Texas border. We begin in DeRidder, the parish seat, then travel to Sugartown, on to Dry Creek, and end our road trip in Maryville. Let's go. Beauregard Parish was once part of No Man's Land, the neutral strip from 1806 to 1821. It was a lawless stretch of land between Spanish Texas and the United States, where settlers carved out lives without formal rule. Today, the Beauregard Museum traces that untamed beginning and the people who called it home.
The no man's land mentality is still very much ingrained in the people here. And it's part of our heritage, it's part of our spirit, and I think it always will be.
I met up with the mayor of DeRidder for a stroll along a newly paved walking trail, passing a restored shotgun house, once home to sawmill workers, now reimagined as a gathering space for the community. A modern amenity nearby invites electric car drivers to plug in and stay a while.
What can we do to get people to come to DeRidder? One thing that we did do is put 2 electric car charging stations right downtown in DeRidder between City Hall and our library, which allows people to charge their vehicles, shop at our restaurants, have this DeRidder experience, and so they can see the community while their vehicle is being charged.
Next, I visit the War Memorial Civic Center, America's first off-base USO that opened in 1941 as a social center for the soldiers stationed at Fort Polk and the airmen stationed at what is now Beauregard Regional Airport. Today, it's a community gathering space and a World War II museum, free and open to the public.
The building was constructed in just 39 days back in 1941, specifically for use for an off-base USO. We are designated on the Register of Historic Places as the first off-base USO in the United States of America. So Ms. Velmer Smith generously donated most of what you see because this building was built specifically for World War II. And so most of the items that you see in the building are World War II related.
And who was she?
She was a local historian who loved, I think she was a great World War II history buff.
From their USO, I follow the legacy of World War II airmen to their former training base at the Beauregard Regional Airport, a working airport that is open for public tours of its original hangar, and it has exhibits.
In 1941, the Department of Defense, or Department of War, had a lease agreement with Beauregard Parish Police Jury to lease 4,200 acres, and that would become DeRidder Army Air Base. Construction started in early 1942, and they activated DeRidder Army Air Base in February.
I venture deeper into the Piney Woods to Dry Creek Baptist Camp, a place that feels like a frontier village from another era, which stands to reason considering the camp has welcomed generations for more than a century.
In 1924, over 100 years ago, there was a group of folks that just got together to say, we think the best thing for our kids is that they have a chance to be able to get away from the busyness of life. It was primarily the churches of Beauregard Parish that started it, so probably about 25 to 30 churches came together and started it, and it just kind of grew.
Dry Creek Baptist Camp stretches across 107 acres with log cabins, a tabernacle, country store, and all the classic memory-making experiences from campfires to swimming to archery and canoeing. It's open to the general public year-round in addition to hosting summer fellowship camps. I wrap up my road trip through Beauregard Parish in Maryville, right along the Texas line, with a stop at the Maryville History Museum, home to the annual Pioneer and Heritage Festival. An 1883 log cabin welcomes visitors inside, built by settler Andrew Jackson Burke, a U.S. Marshal whose life ended tragically on a bear hunt. The cabin was later moved and carefully restored in 1983, preserving the region's frontier story.
Maryville was here in the 1880s, but the original settlers started coming in as early as 1836. I would say the turning point for this area would have been after 1865. After the war is whenever, we started seeing churches founding. The foundations of Maryville school system started we started seeing that. And by, I would say, 1890 is when they discovered the longleaf pine trees that completely covered this area.
My guide is historian and author Joe Williamson. He's a 10th generation resident of Maryville, and he shares stories of the community's famous residents, from Governor Sam Houston Jones to famous athletes and folk artists.
We actually have some oil paintings right over here. We had we call her the Grandma Moses of Maryville, and she did primitive artwork. Her name was Gussie Lofton Townsley.
Here's my takeaway from my time in Beauregard Parish. I jammed to bluegrass music, where pickers and fiddlers keep the tradition alive. I discovered a lesser-known Louisiana culture in the Mennonite community. I followed the sweetness of Sugartown to the watermelon fields. Then I found stillness in Dry Creek with Kurt Isles, where stories are passed down like heirlooms. From there, I traced the frontier spirit all the way to Maryville, and along the way, discovered a side of Western Louisiana that feels rooted, resilient, and well worth exploring. I hit the backroads of Franklin Parish in northeast Louisiana, where small towns have big claims to fame. In Winsboro, flags line the streets of the Stars and Stripes capital, while nearby roads lead to the hometown of country music superstar Lainey Wilson. We'll follow the Northeast Louisiana Music Trail, shop at one of the last general stores, and experience farm life, from dairy cows and pecan orchards to catfish ponds in the catfish capital. Along the way, I meet people growing a new kind of agritourism, rooted in tradition and full of heart. Franklin Parish is located in northeastern Louisiana, in a region known as the Mississippi Delta. The parish was named in honor of Benjamin Franklin. Our road trip begins in Winsboro, the parish seat. Then we head north to Swampers and on to Baskin, Gilbert, Wisner, and we end in Crowville. Let's get going. Down Prairie Avenue, which locals simply call Main Street, the former Winsboro Post Office Museum welcomes visitors free of charge. At the entrance, an original New Deal-era mural sets the tone.
The building itself, it was built in 1936, and it was also part of the New Deal era, where a lot of the municipal buildings were built during that time. It was a working post office up until 1998.
This is great.
Spittoons that were in the original post office.
You know, that was a different time when you had spittoons in the post office
In a public place
as an
like
amenity.
Original post office boxes, sorting slots, and an old vault provide the backdrop for changing exhibits. On the day I visited, there was one honoring military service with uniforms and memorabilia spanning every branch from the Revolutionary War to today. The other tells the story of local churches, revealing the deep roots of faith that continue to shape this community.
Franklin Parish, for being a rural parish, has a surprising number of churches.
Absolutely. We have over 150 churches in Franklin Parish alone. And it's just such an important part of this community that we've had so many people eager to share their information, their artifacts, their history with us.
I head to Greer's in Crowville for dinner, a local favorite where the catfish is lightly breaded just enough to let its natural flavor come through. The family recipes are made from scratch, including its popular slaw, tartar sauce, and pies.
It was originally opened as Greer's in 1988 by my Aunt Betty Greer. She was here 32 years and decided she was ready to go home for a while, so she sold it to me and my husband, just keep it in the family. I worked here in high school, so I was already kind of familiar with it, and just to be a part of something in the community, and it's a great source for me to be able to give back to my community too.
Jennifer buys her fresh catfish down the road from Herring Catfish Processing Plant in Wisner. It's where I'm headed next, straight to the source of the company that gives Franklin Parish its claim to fame as the catfish capital.
How many catfish are cultivated here in Franklin Parish?
Each farmer can do about close to 1 million pounds, 850,000 to 1 million pounds on their farm. So we have about 6 to 8 million pounds right here in our parish.
Herring Catfish is the town's largest employer. The family-owned operation has been in business since 1982, founded by Hannah's grandfather, Pete Herring. They process 16 million pounds a year, averaging 80 to 100,000 pounds of catfish a day. Hannah walks me through the process. It's a kind of choreography, all working in sync to carry this fish from the pond to the plate. At the final stage, the fillets are frozen, packaged, and prepared for shipping in boxes that proudly proclaim, born and raised in the USA, Herring Catfish, certified Louisiana.
The legacy of catfish here in Franklin Parish is not necessarily because the climate or the topography was conducive. It's because one man came here and just said, hey, I shall cultivate catfish.
Right. My dream always was for it to continue and go, and then maybe my 3 kids would like to be in this industry. But we have 5,000 acres of row crop. We've got 1,100 acres of catfish farms. We got this big processing plant. So, we do a lot of different things to keep going.
It's feeding time at Herring Catfish as a truck rolls along the water's edge, sending pellets flying across the surface, triggering a catfish feeding frenzy. Herring stocks its ponds with fingerlings year-round, giving the community reason to celebrate at the annual South Franklin Catfish Festival held the first weekend in May.
Why celebrate catfish?
Well, just catfish has been a real big part of this community because a lot of employees, a lot of workforce is in the catfish industry. So you have catfish farmers, and then we got the plant and also all the ponds, and then the meal also for catfish feed and everything.
While exploring Franklin Parish, I stayed at the Jackson Street Guest House, a place that pulls you straight into the region's past. Built in the early 1900s, the home still carries that sense of old Louisiana prosperity. Today, it's been thoughtfully restored by Paul Price and his wife Linda, who reopened it as a guest house. Here's my takeaway from my time in Franklin Parish. You don't visit for the spectacle, you come for something rooted and real, from famous names who don't forget where they came from, to the fields and orchards connecting us to the food we eat, and the murals that spark joy and civic pride. This rural parish, with its claims to fame as the Stars and Stripes capital and the catfish capital, reminds you that identity comes from community, and the main attraction is the people who live it every day. On this episode of LA64, hit the road with me as we explore St. Landry Parish, from Washington's steamboat-era streets to Arnoldville's revival of Acadian brown cotton, to Grand Coteau, home to a Vatican-recognized miracle, and on to Eunice, where the prairie shaped the people and the music. If you've ever wondered what makes Louisiana uniquely Louisiana, you'll find the answers here along the Cajun Prairie Byway. St. Landry Parish sits in south central Louisiana, right in the heart of Acadiana, with Opelousas as the parish seat. We'll get to know it mile by mile as we crisscross the parish, starting in Washington, then on to Arnoldville, Grand Coteau, Eunice, and Opelousas. Locals say Washington is Louisiana's third oldest settlement, backed by nearly 3 centuries of history visible in its streets and buildings. I met up with Hallie Carell, who's helping promote Washington's historic charm with guidance from the Louisiana Main Street program.
Let's start in the 1720s. Washington was founded as a French trading post. We had French trappers who came here. They followed the bayous here, and they would trade with the Native Americans. That was the Attakapaws here. This is where they start their settlement in the 1720s. So a few years later, we get our Spanish land grant, and that goes to Jacques Catawba. Jacques Catawba essentially settled Washington in the early to mid 1700s.
Each one of these historic properties has a marker. Come check this out. It tells you the date that the home or building was constructed and a little bit about the family who lived here.
I stopped to chat with historic homeowner Stephanie Tompkins. Her street is lined with houses once owned by steamboat captains.
The home was built circa 1840 by a man named Nathaniel Offutt. He and his brother owned much acreage in this parish and also in 2 other parishes. We have these homes, and they're original homes. It's not like Williamsburg that most of them are reproductions. These are original homes. So it's important to preserve them.
Saturday mornings at Savoy Music Center in Eunice bring together Cajun musicians carrying fiddles, accordions, guitars, and teefers who come for boudin, conversation, and an impromptu concert. Mark Savoy founded the music store in 1966 and has been hosting these Saturday morning jams for 60 years and counting.
It's all a bunch of very old songs, and I don't like a big professional show. Just people playing music from the heart. For that reason, there's no admission. It's just down home. And I think people are searching for that today because there's so much fake music out there. The fun part about it too is, like as Adam says, it's very inclusive.
Mark's entire family shows up to play. His wife Ann and 4 children are all talented musicians. For years, they performed as the Savoy Family Band, touring worldwide.
It has been a community gathering place for all the greatest Cajun musicians and Zydeco musicians. Every kind of musician has been coming here in the past. The oldest ones that formed Cajun music would come here, and we got to experience that and play it. Listen to them and learn to play from them.
Mark invites me to his workshop in the back of the store where he handcrafts Cajun accordions. Each one is proudly stamped Louisiana made and played around the world. As I travel across the state, I'm always on the lookout for lodging that feels like Louisiana, a stay with a sense of place and plenty of personality. So when I spotted a collection of train cars across the street from the Academy of the Sacred Heart campus in Grand Coteau, I did a double take. At first glance, I thought I'd found a little train depot museum. Then I got closer and realized I'd found my room for the night at the Trainwreck Inn.
You call it a train wreck, but it's anything but a train wreck. It's so well designed. Where did these rail cars come from?
So they were acquired. They were actually a bed and breakfast just down the road in Sunset. They were not used for at least 20 years before that. And so we totally gutted them, revamped them.
Carly and her husband, Kelly Corval, deliver a different kind of room service. If you ask, they'll prepare a home-cooked dinner using local ingredients right there in your rail car kitchen.
So tonight we're going to be having venison Wellington. Something we like to really focus on here is doing things that are in season.
From the moment I rang the check-in bell at Hotel Klaus, I felt like I'd stepped straight into Washington's golden age. The pastel green and yellow building on Carrier Street once served as a general store and home. Owner Stephen Ortego, an architect and developer, restored the 1870s Klaus Mercantile and reimagined it as a 9-room boutique hotel.
So we did a lot of extensive research on the building and found out that it was built not long after the Civil War by some Jewish merchants who moved here from Prussia, the Plonsky family. And then Max Klaus came over, probably arrived here on a steamboat. And then he and his wife had 9 children, and 3 of their daughters ran the store all the way up until the mid-60s, 1960s. There definitely is a movement here in Washington, a reinvestment, sort of standing up tall and moving forward and making sure we preserve history here.
Exploring St. Landry Parish takes me straight back to my childhood. Weekends at my mama's house in Melville. This journey was a homecoming. A reminder that Louisiana's richness is in its everyday people, carrying traditions forward, stitch by stitch, song by song. A place where you can still hear the steamboat whistle each evening because history deserves to be heard. Just outside New Orleans, a different Louisiana comes into view. I'm traveling through Jefferson Parish, from Kenner's riverfront to Westwego's shrimp boats, Gretna's German roots, pirate lore and Jean Lafitte, and all the way to Grand Isle, where the road ends and the Gulf begins. This is Louisiana just beyond the obvious. Jefferson Parish is in southeastern Louisiana. Our road trip starts in Kenner on the east bank, crosses the Mississippi to the west bank, through Westwego, Gretna, and Jean Lafitte, and ends where the land gives way to the sea in Grand Isle. Westwego proudly calls itself Gator Town, and you'll see it on murals and signs all around town. This place grew out of fishing and farming, and today it's where locals come when they want seafood as fresh as it gets, right here at the Westwego Shrimp Lot.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Karen. Hi, Karen. Western Westwego and the Westwego Shrimp Lot.
This must be the family business.
That's so nice to meet you.
The family.
We're going to take you on a tour around about here, and before you do, you're just going to be part of the crowd with a pair of shrimp boots.
Cut. I'll be back. Okay, I have my shrimp boots on. I'm ready to take a tour.
All right, you're ready to go.
Okay. Let's do it.
Ronnie Tomento started the Westwego Shrimp Lot back in 1979 with his father. Today, it's a true family operation run by Ronnie alongside his daughter Ann and his grandson Andrew. And many of these stands have been in the same families for generations.
These are hardworking people, and you almost have to be born in this business to succeed. The consumer benefits a lot of ways because they can save money. Most of the time, the shrimp are 2-3 days old. You got a regular place, you're going to find shrimp in there for months.
Seafood shopping here is a conversation. Vendors pop open their ice chest and say, hey, come take a look, while you get to choose shrimp straight off the boat, live crabs, oysters by the sack, even gator meat. On the surface, this seafood supermall looks basic. A gravel parking lot surrounded by tin roof stalls and hand-painted signs. But behind the scenes, there is a lot of smart infrastructure, keeping everything clean, safe, and environmentally responsible.
They actually created small ecosystems behind the stalls to retain the shrimp water dump site, basically whenever they're have seafood or things like that, so it's not just throwing it back into Mother Earth, it's more of recycling it into the ecosystem.
When shopping for fresh crabs, Mr. Ronnie gave me a tip. If I want a male crab, they have the blue claws. If I want a female crab, they have, I got 2. painted fingernails.
From the shrimp lot, I head down historic Sala Avenue, which runs straight to the levee where colorful murals cover the remains of the old West Wego canal locks. Folk artist Joshua Winggerter is behind the work, and his artistic imprint shows up all over town. Locals call him the creative catalyst of West Wego's art scene, and you'll usually find him right here in his gallery on Sala Avenue.
I'm with a pop art scientist. It's pretty edgy stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
For West Wego.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so, but that's the response that I usually look for when people come out and check out what we have going on. There's a bunch of emerging young people that have different small businesses, whether it be art or coffee shops or whatever the case may be, and I get to just be like another flavor in the neighborhood.
Joshua's gallery is pure eye candy, packed with pop art, painted objects, and layers of stenciled and spray-painted imagery. He'll paint on just about anything, from car parts to stormtroopers. I asked Joshua to paint his vision of LA64. Then I stood back and I watched as he brought it to life, stenciling the logo in bold purples and pinks and adding a paper airplane that captures the show's eat, shop, stay, play, and explore ethos.
Looks like we have a new LA64 logo, an original by Josh Winggerter. Well done.
Brilliant.
The creative genius.
While exploring Jefferson Parish, I stayed at Bayous State Park, one of those rare places that feels worlds away, yet just sits 15 minutes across the Mississippi River from New Orleans.
I've stayed at a lot of state parks. This one is super unique because the cabins float. My cabin literally juts out onto the bayou and it floats. In fact, when boats go by, you can kind of feel it rocking. Now, I will say that this state park really caters to fishing. There are a lot of amenities, a great boat launch. You can fish for saltwater or brackish fish, and every cabin has its own fish cleaning station.
In Kenner's historic river town, I stayed at the Clancy House, named after longtime Sheriff Frank James Clancy, who built the home in the 1920s.
Hi, Karen. Welcome to the Clancy House. Come on in and make yourself at home.
This is so charming.
Thank you so much.
Andrea DePepe is the great-granddaughter of Sheriff Frank James Clancy. She restored the home as an overnight events venue. The property includes the main house, a carriage house, and an outbuilding.
This mural behind us it shows the immigrants, which Kenner was mostly Italian and Irish immigrants, and they were the lifeline to all of the produce that would go to the city of New Orleans.
The 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home is part gathering place and part getaway. It claims to be Rivertown's only venue with an overnight option. Here's my takeaway from exploring Jefferson Parish. In many ways, it's a microcosm of Louisiana itself. Less obvious at first glance, but essential to understanding the state. Each stop reminds me that sometimes the most meaningful journeys happen just beyond the places that we think we already know. Hit the road with me to explore St. Mary Parish. I follow the Atchafalaya River from the lamppost-lined main street of Franklin to the ancestral home of the Chitimacha tribe. Head deep into the Atchafalaya Basin where swamp legends live. Then cross into Morgan City to climb aboard a towering oil rig and end along a sandy shoreline, one of the best spots in Louisiana to watch sunsets. St. Mary Parish sits along Louisiana's Gulf Coast, where water shapes the land, livelihood, and culture. The Atchafalaya River flows through the parish, emptying into Atchafalaya Bay near Morgan City. I begin in Franklin, the parish seat, and then on to Carrington, where the Chitimacha tribe of Louisiana keeps tradition alive. Next, I head to Patterson and into the basin. Then on to Berwick, where a lighthouse watches the river. I cross into Morgan City, a working waterfront, before ending at the sandy shoreline of Sippermort Point State Park. Let's go.
As I arrive to the city of Franklin, a line of lampposts greets me leading into the historic heart, flanked by antebellum mansions. And as I stand underneath, I begin to understand why locals like to say it's all under the lamppost. We're going to explore why this is not just a slogan, it's a way of living, preserving the past while reimagining the future.
Franklin helped lead Louisiana's preservation movement as one of the original 4 cities in the state's Main Street program.
As I've always said, as Main Street goes, so goes the rest of the community, because in order for us to do different projects throughout Franklin with our match dollars that we need that tax base.
We stroll through Pocket Park in downtown Franklin, a community space anchored by a mural from Robert Dafford that brings the story of Bayou Teche to life. The next day, downtown Franklin is alive with music and vendors lining the street, selling everything from homemade lemonade to cracklins and Cajun jerky. The Franklin Merchant Association hosts the events and invites locals to set up outside their storefronts. I step in for a coffee break at a local favorite named for those iconic lampposts, and it starts to click. Around here, it really is all under the lamppost.
Good morning. So I'm told to order the specialty, which is the lampuccino and the beignets, because locals say they're like the best around.
Oh yeah.
I gotta come up with a plan of attack. Look at this.
Owners Diane and Gary Wiltz aren't just running a coffee shop. They're restoring pieces of Franklin one building at a time.
My vision then is, let's make it as touristy as we possibly can, so that when people come to want to see what small town America looks like, Franklin is going to be on their list.
Next, we're in Morgan City, home of the Shrimp and Petroleum Festival, and for good reason. Both industries are closely tied to the city's history and economy. Now, I'm standing here on top of the Mr. Charlie rig, and in just a moment, I am going to take you on a tour. But first, I'm going to send you up for a bird's eye view of one of the nation's busiest river intersections, where a lot of traffic passes through the Mississippi River Valley system. Up you go.
Mr. Charlie is a National Historic Landmark and the only place in the world where the public can walk aboard an authentic offshore drilling rig.
The actual offshore oil and gas industry started in 1947. And that's when a crew went from Morgan City out into the Gulf, built a platform, erected a land drilling rig on the platform, drilled a well. Then in the early 1950s, a man working here in Morgan City named Alden Doc Laborde came up with the idea of a portable, self-contained drilling rig. And this is the rig that he built. So it floats.
Mr. Charlie was in operation from 1954 to 1986 until offshore drilling pushed into deeper waters that this rig couldn't reach. My guide, Virgil Allen, is a civil engineer who helped rescue it from the scrap heap, transforming it into both a museum and a live-aboard training facility. We walk through the lower level with sleeping quarters, a rec room, and a kitchen, and then on up to the working decks.
Righty, Karen, this is our personnel basket. So if we're working up here and we want to get down to the deck of a boat, the crane can pick us up in this basket and drop us down to the boat that's bouncing into 3-foot seas.
I think about how you can't be scared of heights or claustrophobic to work on an offshore oil rig. It takes stamina to live and work here for weeks at a time, way out at sea.
We're looking at all this hand-operated equipment, and it is all hand-operated. Today, this is all robotics. So now the men and women are sitting in an air-conditioned cabin with joysticks, working robotic arms, doing almost all this work. This is one of the top 10 most dangerous jobs in America.
I believe it.
Today, it's one of the safest jobs in America.
After a day of filming the culture and characters of St. Mary Parish, I returned to Sycamore Point State Park for a stroll along the nature boardwalk leading into the marshland and reflect on the day, and also think about the way this land was formed by a meandering arm of the Mississippi River. We're going to wrap up our travels throughout St. Mary Parish with a send-off serenade by country musician, Louisiana native, and American Idol winner Lane Hardy.
Might look like nothing but gravel roads and tractors rolling over them fields and praying that we get a little rain soon and cutting loose and hammering down wheels and knocking them Friday night beers back by the train tracks and thinking that I'd never miss this place when I got home. But that's the ground I grew up on. Yeah, that's the ground I grew up on.
Hit the road with me to explore St. Martin Parish, where the past dances the two-step to Zydeco and waltzes in Cajun dance halls, where paddle trails are scenic roads through the Atchafalaya Basin, and Cajun roots live on in modern-day makers, culture keepers, and cuisine. Join me in the heart of Acadiana, where locals say Cajun began. St. Martin Parish sits in south central Louisiana, right in the heart of Acadiana, Louisiana's Cajun country. It stretches along the edge of the Atchafalaya Basin, the nation's largest river swamp. Our road trip starts in St. Martinville and heads north to Breaux Bridge. Crossing into St. Martin Parish, the sign greets me plain and proud, home of Louisiana's 57th governor, Jeff Landry. St. Martinville is known as the Petite Paris of Louisiana. It's home to a concentration of Acadian settlers who arrived in the 1700s after their exile from Nova Scotia. Present-day ancestors, myself included, can connect with their roots at the Acadian Memorial and Museum. A talking mural greets me, telling the story of the Acadian expulsion by the British in the mid-1700s from Nova Scotia. Joseph Broussard, also known as Beausoleil, led a group of Acadian families to Louisiana in 1765, where they settled in what is now present-day St. Martin Parish. The opposite wall lists the names of Acadian exiles who lived in the region, etched in bronze.
So I'm a LeBlanc, and my ancestors are on this wall.
Many LeBlancs came in the beginning with Beausoleil Broussard. There were more than 3,000 Acadians that found homes here in Louisiana. The majority of those settled in the St. Martinville area.
In honor of my ancestors, I am going to do a rubbing of the very first LeBlanc listed on the wall, Andre LeBlanc.
We head next door to the St. Martinville Cultural Heritage Center, which houses the Museum of the Acadian Memorial and the African American Museum.
Right at the entrance, we thought that it was very important to have the same text panels that show the diaspora of the Acadians and the diaspora of the Africans, so that we can show our similarities of being moved or forced from our homeland to a new place here in Louisiana.
Well, let's go take a walk.
Before I leave, we head out to the courtyard, where an eternal flame burns honoring the Acadians, and a replica of the deportation cross at Grand Pre in Nova Scotia stands, marking the location where Acadian families were gathered and deported by the British in 1755.
And I noticed that the LeBlanc family shield.
Then one of the other main features out in the courtyard is that families were able to put their shields here for people to remember their family and the things about their particular family.
Before I say goodbye to St. Martinville, I met up with Mayor Jason Willis. His family has called this place home for 6 generations. I wanted to know, what is it about this city that keeps people rooted here for generations?
We have one of the most beautiful bayous. You know, we have beautiful trees, you know, most beautiful oak trees in down south Louisiana. You know, we have the best foods. I'll put our food up against anybody, you know. We have different culture here. You know, it's just quiet. It's like, we want our place to be like a bedroom community where people come to reside, and then commute to work other places. Just because it's family-oriented, it's safe.
Eric Cuvion owns Live Edge Woodworks and salvages sinker cypress straight from his hunting land deep in the Atchafalaya Basin. Out back, stacks of water-soaked cypress pulled from the swamp bottom, air dry and wait their turn at the mill.
That's the beauty of sinker cypress, and that's what makes it beautiful, is the cypressine oil that's in it. The minerals are seeped in mostly to the outside edges, and when you cut it, you can see it. I mean, you can see the greens, the blues, the blacks.
Eric builds his tables from his own designs, carrying on a legacy with every cut and curve. Each one is a piece of history, a bit of heritage, crafted for future generations to hold on to and gather around.
If I don't get them out, no one's going to get them out. They'll be lost forever.
Ask just about anyone living in St. Martin Parish for the best place to eat, and they'll point you to Poche's and Brobridge for their plate lunches. The pig pen at the base of the sign hints at its origins as a slaughterhouse along Bayou Teche in the 1960s. Today, Poche's operates as a meat company, grocery store, and restaurant.
Locals say when you come to Poche's, you gotta order the crawfish étouffée, served over rice dressing and topped with fried shrimp. It's the those in the know way to eat it, so that is what I will order. What locals didn't tell me is you gotta come hungry.
On any given day, you'll find owner Floyd Poche behind the counter and in the kitchen. For 50 years and counting, he took over the store from his dad in 1976.
I'm here every day checking on them. I had some people that helped me cook now that I got old. But, just make sure everything is done right.
Any plans to retire, Floyd?
Not till I die.
Here's my takeaway from my time in St. Martin Parish. I came looking for stories, and I found my own family roots etched in bronze. I danced to the rhythms of Zydeco and Cajun and learned how brown cotton becomes a thread of heritage. And I met makers who shape Louisiana's past into everyday beauty. St. Martin Parish isn't just where Cajun began, it's where culture continues, in every song, every spoonful, and every step. Hit the road with me to explore DeSoto Parish, where Civil War history, frontier legends, and homegrown Louisiana flavor come together. We train for the Battle of Pleasant Hill reenactment, explore the African-American legacy of Rosenwald schools, discover why Logansport is the sand bass capital, and explore wine country in Keachai. From battlefields to bass fishing, this is DeSoto Parish like you've never seen it before. DeSoto Parish sits in northwest Louisiana along the Texas border just south of Shreveport. I start in Pelican, where I join a Civil War reenactment before crisscrossing the parish to Mansfield, the parish seat, then on to charming Grand Cane and historic Keachai, and then Longstreet's cherished Rosenwald School, before ending in Stonewall to check out its new social scene. Let's go. One of the joys I have of filming LA64 are the unexpected encounters, like this impromptu reunion of former students and teachers at the Longstreet Rosenwald School after word spread that we wanted to learn about the school's legacy. Louisiana Rosenwald schools educated African American students in mostly rural areas. They were constructed between 1912 and 1932 for educational equity. Gisela Mohan taught at the school.
So at age 94, I'm glad to sit here and look at you and share this with you because it's phenomenal and it's not to be forgotten.
The Longstreet Rosenwald School grew from a partnership between Booker T. Washington and philanthropist Julius Rosenwald, president of Sears and Roebuck, whose vision helped build nearly 5,000 schools across the South during the Jim Crow era.
We had a lady by the name of Miss Callie Green, played that piano, or that one, and had one of the best choirs over here. And I would like for you to hear them sing now some on Sundays with Joseph Pipkin back there, one of my students, as the pastor.
I interviewed your teacher, and she said you were one of her favorite students. That's high praise.
I became one of them after she put that switch on me. She whipped me into doing right. She whipped me. She whipped me into doing right.
She must have whipped you pretty good, because now you're a man of God preaching the word. Why is this school so important to the community?
It's so important to the community. It did two things. First, it educated us, our minds, but it helped us morally.
The Louisiana Trust for Historic Preservation says of the nearly 400 Louisiana Rosenwald schools constructed, only 20 remain. Today, the school serves as a community center and an extension of the Travelers Rest Baptist Church, established in 1878 and led by Pastor Joseph Pipkin. DeSoto Parish was established in 1843, carved out of Natchitoches Parish and Caddo Parish. Mansfield became the parish seat, and it's where the original DeSoto Parish Courthouse still stands, a log cabin dating back to 1843. Today, that rugged individualism and attachment to the land still resonates.
It's like a melting pot. It's almost its own folk culture in that area, and they still celebrate it today. We still celebrate it in our food, in our festivals.
DeSoto Parish became a big fish in the oil and gas industry in the early 2000s with the discovery of the Haynesville Shale. It was one of the largest natural gas formations in the United States. And with advances in drilling technology, they were able to access the gas underneath my feet, deep within rock formations. And this brought new wealth to DeSoto Parish, and it launched a modern energy boom. So how would we describe the economic drivers today in the parish? What are they?
In the parish, primarily natural gas, the main driver. We send the most severance tax to the state of all the parishes in the state. Out of 64 parishes, millions of dollars. And that's mostly natural gas severance tax.
Welcome to the Cook Hill House. It is my home base while exploring DeSoto Parish. It's a mid-1800s home restored as a bed and breakfast here in Grand Cane. It's about just 2 blocks from the Grand Cane charming historic district. Come on inside, I'm going to give you a tour, and I'm going to share a story about the home's roots. 4 Cook siblings grew up in this home, including Lloyd Elmer Lod Cook. He was a successful oil executive and an active philanthropist for Louisiana State University. He served as chairman of the Board of Supervisors, and the Cook Hotel and Conference Center on campus is named after Lod Cook, honoring all of his contributions.
The railroad gave birth to many Louisiana settlements, including Grand Cane, that once prospered as a train stop. At its peak, the village population numbered more than 500. Then the highways came, or as the mayor of Grand Cane says, the big slab was laid and the people moved out and others just passed through town. More than 125 years later, Grand Cane stands as one of Louisiana's greatest small-town comeback stories. Here's my takeaway from my time in DeSoto Parish. I followed stories across battlefields, back roads, fishing spots, historic main streets, and even a vineyard. I marched into the chaos of a Civil War reenactment and listened to former Rosenwald students reflect on a school that shaped generations during segregation. I found Greek revival churches, cemetery legends, and inspiration in the moxie of an 88-year-old mayor leading one of Louisiana's greatest small-town comebacks. DeSoto Parish is a rare place where the pioneer spirit perseveres, reimagined through charming communities and homegrown pride. But don't just take my word for it. Go experience it for yourself. We hit the road in Sabine Parish, once an outlaw borderland, now a heritage-rich landscape shaped by indigenous roots, frontier lore, and sawmill towns. We'll trace the legacy of no man's land and explore the South's largest man-made lake, plus sample Louisiana's road trip staple, gas station eats.
Delicious.
Sabine Parish sits on Louisiana's western edge bordering Texas. Our road trip starts in Florine. We'll travel north to Fisher and then on to Manny and Zwolle. The parish gets its name from the Sabine River, which runs 600 miles through Texas and Louisiana before reaching the Gulf of Mexico. Sabine Parish was Louisiana's version of the Wild West, where explorers, settlers, tribes, and outlaws shaped Louisiana's western frontier. I timed my visit during the Sabine Free State Festival, an annual event in Florine that celebrates the region's origins as no man's land. From 1806 to 1821, Spain and the United States could not agree on a border between Texas, then Spanish territory, and Louisiana. So they created a buffer zone with no formal government, no law enforcement, and no taxes. This boundary dispute created a 17-year frontier free-for-all known as No Man's Land. It was a 34-mile wide strip of land east of the Sabine River that attracted outlaws and settlers.
Without oral storytelling, those would be lost for generations. So I'm really glad that our past ancestors decided in 1980 that this was something that really needed to be promoted and taught, because it's something that we wouldn't know about. It's left out of the history books.
North Toledo Bend State Park sits near the town of Zwolle, and it's a prime spot for bass fishing. The state park spans 900 acres, offering camping, hiking, swimming, boating, fishing, and water sports.
It is a cool, crisp morning here at North Toledo Bend State Park, so I made a fire in my fire pit, which is right outside my cabin. And these cabins are adorable. They're log cabins. They have so much character. Because it's cool outside, I think today I'm not going out on the water. So no kayaking, no canoeing for me, but I am going to take a hike, get some exercise.
Along my hike on the Dogwood Nature Trail, I spotted Bigfoot. Actually, it's a replica, but seriously, Bigfoot folklore is big in these parts. Every year, Bigfoot believers gather nearby at Wildwood Resort in Zwolle for an annual Bigfoot symposium to swap sightings and share theories about the hairy being. After my hike, I sat down with my new friend Chooch LaRue, whom I first met at the Choctaw Apache Powwow in Ebarb, to talk about what Toledo Bend really cost this community. His ancestors lived for generations in the river bottom along the Sabine River, only to lose their homes, their land, and pieces of their identity when the bottomlands were flooded to create the reservoir.
My name is Kenneth LaRue. That's my real name. Everybody down here calls me Chooch LaRue. I'm an elder with the Choctaw Apache tribe of Ebarb. We've been living here forever. I was born here, right behind us, the lake. That is my home. My original home is underwater today, and some of you guys might have fished there before.
Chooch lived on the river bottom with generations of his extended family who survived off the land as trappers and raised hogs and cattle. His family was one of hundreds forced to sell their land to the state at $50 an acre.
There was no negotiations with the government. At that time, they came in and they said, your land is worth this much. And they paid you. That was the end of the negotiations. So me and Toledo, we're okay. But I still hate that it disrupted people all up and down the Sabine River, because it was a very, very great place to be.
Today, the village of Ebarb, an unincorporated area near Zwolle, is home to a concentration of Choctaw Apache tribe members and their tribal headquarters.
Welcome to the Zoology Museum on the Bend.
Martha Henderson, my tour guide, is a lifelong resident of Zwolle. We start at the original ticket office of the 1898 depot.
Okay, this room, this area is dedicated to the timber and the logging. That was the first thing going on. Back in those days, it was virgin timber, and these are some samples of the brands on the log when they got to their destination. That's how they knew who they belonged to and who to pay. But we're very proud of the logging industry here.
The museum also documents the hundreds of homes displaced by the creation of Toledo Bend Lake.
These are all the homes that were lost and went under the water. And in a lot of cases, it tells you the history. It'll tell you that who owned it, how much they got for it.
Here's my takeaway from my time in Sabine Parish. This place defies every cliche about Louisiana. Its landscape looks unlike any other part of the state. Its world-class bass fishing unfolds on one of the nation's largest recreational lakes, and its cultural mix, indigenous, Spanish, Anglo, and French, reveals a different Louisiana altogether, one worth experiencing, exploring, and remembering. Hit the road with me to explore Caddo Parish. We glide across the cinematic waters of Caddo Lake, follow the oil trail that turned quiet land into boom towns, and step onto the legendary Louisiana Hayride stage where Elvis Presley became a star. Along the way, we'll explore small towns, taste bold North Louisiana flavors, and find an unexpected connection at one of the nation's largest chimp sanctuaries. From backyards to bayous, Caddo Parish is full of stories waiting to be told. Caddo Parish sits in the northwest corner of Louisiana, right along the Texas line, where oil boom ambition shaped the region. I begin on Caddo Lake, site of the nation's first offshore oil well, and I follow that legacy into Oil City, once a thriving frontier of the industry. Then on to Shreveport, which set the stage for music legends, and continue south to Keithville, home of a chimp rescue haven. Along the boom and bust byway, we visit small towns like Mooringsport, Gilliam, and Belcher that shape the soul of Caddo Parish. I cross Shreveport's Neon Bridge. It's known as the Long Island Bridge, spanning the Red River, and it is a glowing piece of sky sculpture connecting Caddo and Bossier parishes. On the other side, downtown Shreveport unfolds, where oil wealth and country music came together to create a cultural alchemy that defines the city.
Just a few weeks ago, a young man from Memphis, Tennessee, recorded a song on the Sun label, and in just a matter of a few weeks, that record has skyrocketed right up the charts.
Long before Nashville was known as Music City, the Shreveport Municipal Auditorium was the country music star maker. This legendary venue was home of the Louisiana Hayride, a live radio show broadcasted on KWKH every Saturday night from 1948 to 1960.
It became known as the Cradle of the Stars, and I like to compare it kind of to the American Idol of the time. This is where people would come to test their chops and get on stage, and if they made it, they would go on worldwide tours, so they'd get taken up to the Grand Ole Opry, which happened, and that was why we got the moniker Cradle of the Stars.
Johnny Wessler, a historian, takes me inside the Shreveport Municipal Auditorium, recreating some of the greatest moments from the Louisiana Hayride. Standing center stage, I find the Golden Screw. It's the exact spot where country music legends launched their careers, including Elvis Presley, who made his debut here on October 16, 1954.
We're going to do a song for you. We've got on Sun record. It goes something like this. Well, that's all right, Mama. That's all right with you. That's all right, Mama. Just any way you do, that's all right.
The building was proposed in 1926 with funding led by the American Legion. Today, this 3,000-seat venue stands as a National Historic Landmark. Backstage, I pass a wall of performer signatures and I step into Elvis's dressing room, last used on December 15, 1956, during his final appearance on the Louisiana Hayride. The Municipal Auditorium houses a museum of costumes, records, and photographs chronicling the artist who once took this stage. Upstairs, Johnny shows me the projection room, a rarely seen space where walls are scribbled with show notes from performers once in the spotlight.
Karen has left the building.
The food scene in North Louisiana tends to fly under the radar in foodie culture, often eclipsed by Cajun and Creole cuisine. Chef Hardette Harris is on a mission to create culinary respect for the foodways of North Louisiana.
When you come to Louisiana, just stop at the top of the boot and see what we have here, because we have really good food and it's authentically done, and we're proud of it.
Chef Hardette Harris is a James Beard semifinalist and owner of Us Up North. She's championed the flavors and ingredients of North Louisiana cuisine. She created the region's official meal, recognized by the state legislature.
It's like a shout out to my ancestors to say, somebody's looking at this food that you cooked and served because you loved us. And I always want people to feel the love in the plate.
After tasting this, I already forgot about South Louisiana cuisine.
Now, we're not trying to push them out the picture.
My taste buds want to be Us Up North.
Celebrity chef Nima DeGrassi is shining a spotlight on Shreveport's culinary scene, bringing West African flavors to the forefront. She beat Bobby Flay on the Food Network show with her signature cooking style on the menu at Abby Singer's Bistro in downtown Shreveport.
You know, when you mix West African and a little bit of Louisiana, you get bold flavors. And not West Louisiana where we cook like we're cooking for our grandmothers. So Bobby didn't stand a chance at all.
Chef Nima is from Sierra Leone, where she first learned to cook alongside her mother. She went on to open Shreveport's first West African restaurant and is known for her signature oxtail, richly seasoned with the bold flavors of her heritage.
We cook like we're cooking for our family. We're not just cooking for tourists, we cook from our heart. And this is who we are, Northwest Louisiana, Shreveport Bossier.
God's Country RV Resort and Camp resides 15 minutes outside of Shreveport, inside the Soda Lake Wildlife Management Area.
You can trade 4 walls for an indigenous experience in a teepee. It's an authentic version of glamping.
Here's my takeaway from my time in Caddo Parish. I began on the cinematic waters of Caddo Lake, followed the region's oil legacy, stood on stage where music legends were born, tasted the soul of North Louisiana, and connected with chimpanzees given a second chance. Caddo Parish is a land rich in natural and cultural resources, one that invites you to slow down, look closer, and discover what's been here all along. Hit the road with me to explore Rapides Parish, the literal heart of Louisiana, where grand hotels whisper tales of generals and governors. A sawmill town stands frozen in time. Baby goats greet visitors on a country farm, and the piney woods still echo with the footsteps of soldiers who once trained for war. Join me in central Louisiana, where every road leads somewhere in the state, and every stop reveals a little more of Louisiana's soul. Rapides Parish sits in the geographic heart of Louisiana, where the Red River divides the twin cities of Alexandria and Pineville, and the landscapes shift from riverbanks to piney woods and farmland. On this journey, we'll crisscross Rapides Parish, beginning in Alexandria, the parish seat, heading north across the Red River to Pineville, continuing northeast to DeVille, then traveling south through the forest to Longleaf and Forest Hill, the nursery capital of the world. Each stop reveals another layer of central Louisiana's story. Alexandria's military roots have shaped the city's commerce, character, and culture. The city was incorporated in 1819 and serves as the parish seat. During World War II, Alexandria was the center of a 9-state area for the training of military personnel. The Hotel Bentley stands as a witness to history, legend, and lore. The storied hotel, known as the Biltmore of the Bayou, is my home base for the week as I explore Rapides Parish.
Can I meet the famous Coco Chanel? Is this the Bentley dog?
Yes, ma'am. During World War II, generals including George Patton, Omar Bradley, and Dwight D. Eisenhower stayed here while training troops in central Louisiana. From generals to movie stars to a rescue dog with her own fan club, this hotel offers a front row seat to history.
Patton, all of these great generals had homes in Alexandria, Louisiana, and lived right here for years. There was some 500,000 troops stationed here. They were running the maneuvers that led to the invasion on those beaches that really led to the liberty of the world in many ways.
Hotel Bentley carries the name of its visionary founder, Joseph A. Bentley. He was one of Rapides' most influential businessmen. And when he built this grand hotel in 1907, he wasn't thinking small. He chose the Beaux Arts neoclassical style. It was a bold architectural statement for central Louisiana, complete with a sweeping marble staircase, an ornamental dome, a fountain, and mosaic tiles blanketing the lobby floor that hold a secret.
So we have gold, ivory, black, green, and cranberry, and there is one blue tile the size of a quarter somewhere within the 10,000 square feet. So we'll challenge you to find it. Preservation exists within the property when you look at the grandiose lobby, but we do have an accredited World War II mini exhibit that gives you a really detailed timeline of the hotel's history.
For plate lunches, locals point me to Pamela's Bayou in a Bowl in Alexandria. Pamela Petrie owns the restaurant and cooks up soulful Southern dishes from family recipes passed down through generations.
I think everyone enjoys comfort food. Like, you know, every now and then you want to go to the fancy, smancy restaurants, but for the most part, everybody likes a home-cooked meal, and they don't get it very often. So, you know, like it's a price point that pretty much everybody can afford, or, you know, just comfort, warm, fuzzy.
Dinner brings me to Diamond Grill, where Alexandria's past and present share the same table. The building opened in 1931 as a jewelry store. Today, the restored Art Deco landmark serves steaks and seafood in the glamorous atmosphere of early 20th century downtown Alexandria.
It is a Louisiana-based but also French-based restaurant, and we believe with the ambiance, it's a very quiet, intimate restaurant for everybody to come in and enjoy.
What's its claim to fame?
Absolutely the history. How this did not used to be an actual restaurant. People love the wine cellar, to be able to come in and look and see where it used to be a vault. People absolutely loved it.
I leave Alexandria and head northeast to DeVille, a quiet rural community where Old Mel's Farm invites visitors to slow down and spend time with its friendly farm animals.
We own a farm with Scottish Highland cows.
Wow, look at them.
Sheep, horses, bunnies, goats, and lots of other animals.
And I get to pet animals?
Yes, you get to pet and feed them and learn all about them.
With a moo-moo here and a baa-baa there, Mel's friendly farm animals greet visitors throughout the property, including Goatville, populated with celebrity-named goats. I meet its latest resident, a newborn goat named Zydeco.
Hi. Aww. I want to take them home.
We raise and breed, and the babies go to new homes.
Mel didn't grow up on a farm, but she fell in love with farm life after her husband started raising cattle and sheep. She brought home a few Scottish Highland cows and quickly discovered how much she enjoyed brushing and caring for them.
Hi, do you like that? I'm gonna make you pretty. Mel, why is it so important for you to share your farm and your animals with the public?
If we don't do this, it's going to be agriculture and farming is just going to kind of die out. I have a lot of kids come in from Alexandria that have never been on a farm, never seen a farm animal.
A visit to Mel's farm is more than a photo opportunity. It's an experience and a reminder of a disappearing way of life. From river towns and pine forest to family farms, lumber towns, and fields of blooming nurseries, every stop revealed a different piece of Louisiana's cultural landscape. Rapides Parish truly sits at the crossroads of Louisiana, where influences in every direction meet, creating a cultural alchemy that feels like a little piece of the whole state in one place. Hit the road with me as we explore the festivals, flavors, and culture keepers of Vermilion Parish. From the crawfish ponds of Kaplan to the docks of Delcombe and the historic streets of Abbeville, where a 5,000-egg omelet honors ties to France. Join me as we explore this self-proclaimed most Cajun place on earth. Vermilion Parish lies in south-central Louisiana. Our road trip begins in Abbeville and continues through Erath, Henry, Guédon, and Kaplan, exploring the people and places that define one of the most culturally rich corners of the state. My stroll begins in Abbeville's historic district, laid out like a traditional French village. As a Louisiana-designated Main Street community, Abbeville has reclaimed its heritage and restored storefronts, locally owned shops, and pedestrian-friendly streets that invite you to shop, stroll, and stay a while. The imprint of Sicilian families who settled here in the late 1800s is evident in places such as this 1913 blacksmith shop owned by Sicilian immigrant Sam Garino. Today, it's a museum opened by appointment and fully operational thanks to this guy, Brandon Briggs. He learned the skill of blacksmithing at the shop, and today he maintains the museum and gives demonstrations.
Before they had this electric motor, they started out with a Model T engine powering up. They had rigged it up to power up this one thing, and everything ran by that one piece of equipment. So you want to power it up and see how it works?
Let's see it in action.
Okay, let's go.
The gears and pulley belts power everything. The drill, sharpeners, the bandsaw. Brandon shows me how he heats and shapes the metal and how the blacksmiths made much in-demand nutria fur stretchers for local trappers.
Blacksmithing is a process of taking raw materials and heating, bending, beating, stretching, all the different processes of working metal. I mean, that's the trade of a blacksmith.
Sam Garino founded the blacksmith shop after he apprenticed in Sicily. For decades, he repaired and forged the region's agricultural tools. After Sam died in 1979, the blacksmith shop remained operational until closing in 2004. The Garino family donated it to Abbeville to turn into a museum.
We moved it here, and the city workers shoveled up 4 inches of the dirt. So this is the original dirt that was in the building for all those years from the early 1900s till now.
So this dirt holds a lot of history and probably a lot of soot.
It's got a lot of construction that went on in here. A lot of work. There was oil field work, there was agricultural work that came here. And if you needed anything repaired, Mr. Garino would say, if I can't fix it, it can't be made.
I love the accent.
Locals like to say the 337 area code is home to the best cooks in Louisiana, and they have the credentials and customers to back it up. If you ask anyone where to find the best turtle sauce piquant, they'll point you straight to Sweer's grocery store and restaurant in Kaplan.
When the menu is spray painted on the facade, you know you're somewhere totally authentic and unpretentious. Welcome to Sweer's. It's a grocery and restaurant. It's family owned and it's legendary in these parts. I'm in Kaplan in Vermilion Parish, and this place is a favorite with foodies and with hunters, and you are about to discover why.
Swears opens at 5:30 a.m. and serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner from sunup to sundown. Behind the counter on any given day, you'll find the Swear sisters. Joan and Lisa took over Swears from their parents who bought the store in 1976. Their mother quickly realized that serving family recipes was good business and cleared out a few shelves to make room for tables, creating the restaurant that customers know. Today, Joan handles the business side while Lisa, a talented cook, runs the kitchen with a small staff.
Something is baked every day, every single day. All family recipes.
The grocery store is a place of culinary pride in Kaplan, drawing lifelong customers who come for the company as much as the food. Family photos, newspaper clippings, and famous faces line the walls, along with a payphone that still hangs in the corner. A reminder that this place is suspended in time and grounded in legacy.
And somebody will just come and just say, that was just like my grandmother's. That is the best compliment to me that I ever can get. Or this place feels like home, or my grandmother's home, or we just love that they feel at home. One turtle at the window.
I wasn't leaving Swears without their legendary turtle sauce piquant. Now, Lisa cooks it every Friday, and it is a total labor of love. She cooks the turtle meat 4 hours.
While exploring Abbeville, I stayed at the Caldwell House Bed and Breakfast, listed on the National Registry of Historic Places. Vernon Caldwell, a state senator who served under Louisiana Governor Huey P. Long, built the 6-bedroom home in 1907. Antique furnished bedrooms, pressed tin ceiling tiles, and a central staircase exude hospitality rooted in heritage. The highlight of my stay was the home-cooked breakfast each morning.
I'm in the kitchen with Gretchen, the in-house caterer at the Caldwell House, and this is the most popular dish on the breakfast menu.
Yes, this is our pecan praline French toast. It is our signature dish here at the Caldwell. It is the most requested dish by people who come back more than once.
Here's my takeaway from visiting Vermilion Parish. Its communities and small towns are detours worth taking. Along the way, I discovered it's not where the road leads, but who you meet. The storytellers, musicians, cooks, and culture keepers who make Vermilion Parish the most Cajun place on earth. Lafourche Parish calls itself Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. Its name means the fork in French, and that definition fits. This place is a branching point of history and heritage, land and water. The parish is part of the Atchafalaya National Heritage Area. Daily life, culture, and the economy all trace back to Bayou Lafourche, a 106-mile ribbon of water that shapes everything in its path. We'll begin in Thibodaux, the parish seat, then follow the bayou south through Raceland, Lockport, and La Rose, ending where the land meets the Gulf at Port Fourchon. It's Wednesday night at Gina's at the Legion in Thibodaux, and musicians arrive with instruments in hand for the weekly live Cajun Music Jam. Quentin Fontenot and Missy McElroy are founding members of the Cajun Music Preservation Society, which hosts the jams on the first and third Wednesdays of each month. They've been gathering for more than a decade.
If you look at most of the traditional, like the Cajun Triangle, right, where the Cajun country is, Lafourche Parish is in there. You know, we're probably the most southeastern portion of that triangle we are, and we have a rich heritage of Cajun music out here. In fact, there are some people that have told me that if you listen to traditional Cajun musicians along the bayou, down the bayou in Lafourche Parish, that they had their own dialect of Cajun music. That like most people can't pick it up, but people who really know the music can hear the little things that they do just a little bit different.
It's the licks, right?
It's the licks, yeah, exactly.
It's
right.
like their own signatures.
That's right.
Our mission is to raise awareness of the Cajun music culture and to sort of revive it, because people, they talk about how this is the Cajun area of Louisiana, but We want to feel like we're living it, and music is part of that.
I continue south on Highway 308 to Raceland, where the Laurel Valley General Store is open for business as part of the Laurel Valley Village. It's the largest surviving 19th century sugar plantation complex in the United States.
This place looks to me like it is frozen in time. How old is this place?
So this building was originally built in 1905 to replace a previous structure that was on the site. So it was originally a general store for the plantation for Laurel Valley, where they would, buy the stuff for the village in the back. It was originally up along the highway, and they moved it back in the 70s and kind of refurbished it a little bit, set up the museum in the back, and then the front is the consignment store where you can find these locally made crafts and delicacies and whatnot.
Today, Laurel Valley Village's claim to fame is its starring role in many notable movies. My guide, Gary Hebert, takes me on a tour of the property, revealing weathered cabins, old farm equipment, and cane fields. So many structures remain intact, which is why the property sets the scene for many films and TV shows.
There's been over 29 major motion pictures shot back here, and one of the most famous ones was in this house right here. This was the house used in the movie Ray for Ray Charles. He would have been, the childhood parts of that movie would have been shot back here on Laurel Valley. And then the biggest one is Sinners. Sinners was shot here last summer. It took them 3 months on the property to shoot the movie. And a lot of people have seen Sinners, so when they come here, they're really interested to see the place where Sinners was filmed.
I've showed you what locals love about Lafourche Parish. Now, if you're planning to visit the area, I suggest a stop here at Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Visitor Center in Raceland. They'll give you more information about where to go and what to do.
This isn't your typical pick-up-a brochure visitor center. Multimedia and interactive exhibits, some created with 3D printing like this larger-than-life snapping crab, immerse you in the culture of Lafourche Parish with plenty of photo ops for selfies and social media posts. You can grab a passport and a map for the Cajun Bayou Food Trail, which is exactly where I'm headed next. I followed the Cajun Bayou Food Trail to Lockport for gumbo at Cajun Twist and Grill. They serve a third-generation recipe from the owner's grandmother, Alzina Toops, originally without a roux.
So we got our gumbo rolling right now. It's our chicken sausage gumbo. It's one of our big sellers. Because of our location, we had to start doing more of a roux in our gumbo because that's their palate here. They prefer the roux gumbo. So it's her base with a little bit of roux added into it, but not too much because we like to keep it light.
All right, well, I say serve me a bowl.
My gumbo is loaded with chicken and sausage and served up in a very light-colored roux. Anthony says as I travel up and down the bayou, I'll discover different gumbo recipes based on local palates.
You can go 10 minutes up the road and have a different type of dish. So if you get the same dish down the bayou that you get up the bayou, they might taste totally different. And it's because of that family or that recipe, that's how it is in that area.
The Cajun Bayou Food Trail invites you to explore participating restaurants with a downloadable passport in hand. Each stop earns you a stamp, and after 5, you'll be rewarded with an official t-shirt, plus bragging rights for tasting your way throughout the bayou. I met up with Ridge Goslin, owner of Go Paddle, who outfits visitors with kayaks to paddle the Wetlands Trail.
So I can actually kayak around the port.
Yes, there's access and trails that you can access around the port and around the local wetlands, so it's a beautiful scenery.
It took some extra effort to power paddle in these conditions, but up-close encounters with nature make it all worthwhile. I leave Lafourche Parish with my passport stamped in culinary traditions and new friends I consider the region's culture keepers, musicians, boat builders, butchers, historians, and innkeepers, people who choose to stay, build, sing, cook, and preserve living history along Louisiana's Cajun Bayou.
Support for LA64 is provided by Office of the Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, Keep Louisiana Beautiful, and the Louisiana Office of Tourism, and by the Atchafalaya National Heritage Area, the St. Landry Parish Tourist Commission, Northwestern State University, and by the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, and viewers like you. Thank you.